talk to us about the toughest lessons that you have learned in your entrepreneurial journey, because entrepreneurship is not rosy as it seems from outside.
Managing a business cash flow is something which is underrated. People always think about ideas and all, but it's so important that it's not about people don't have ideas. Everybody have ideas. The thing is executing the idea, finding the person who invests in you, not judging people based on their communication or other things, but rather actually who can solve the problem, getting them on board. That's about it. So these are the initial mistakes which I did that now hopefully I'm correcting it.
And what is the best ever advice you have ever received?
I think one of the advice I got from one of my mentors is document your journey on LinkedIn or wherever that is. Just document, broadcast yourself. Then only people will know. I think ever since that, I've been trying my best to do that. And ever since I started doing it, I'm seeing great results. I'm able to connect with a lot of like-minded people because like attracts likes.
Talking about AI is everywhere. So what are some common myths about AI in marketing that you often hear? And what is the actual ground reality?
No podcast will be complete if you don't talk about AI. It looks like it's a sin if you don't talk about AI. But actually speaking, the way you prompt actually turns the thing quite a lot. For example, even in ChatGPT, if you add a small question to all your regular questions, if you add one additional line, the entire answer will change from ChatGPT because ChatGPT works like a people pleaser.
So folks, you have tuned into TGV and hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, the world's only quadrilingual podcast at this moment of recording, and we are trying to embark into multiple languages as we speak, and here we embark on transformative conversations for a better future, and we want to simplify and amplify your journey to success. I'm your host Navin Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place by bringing you wisdom through valuable discussions with experts designed to simplify and amplify your success. And thank you so much for tuning in. So folks, we are joined by Senthil Kumar Hariram. He is a digital visionary, performance marketing strategist, and founder of FTA Global, which is a bold startup transforming how agencies operate. And with over 15 years in scaling brands, including a leadership role at NP Digital India, he now leads a 40-member founding team that is committed to agile, AI-powered brand growth. Senthil is the brain behind innovations like Quant SEO and AICS, driving real impact in the evolving world of marketing. So, Senthil, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series. How are you doing today?
Oh, thank you so much, Naveen, for the invite. And I'm really excited to be in this podcast.
Same here. And Senthil, first things first, why should somebody tune into our conversation and spend their valuable time with us?
Wow. Okay. So I think basically we're going to be talking not about trends because now a lot of people are already talking about it. We are not here to talk about future because the future is already here. The idea is that how AI will disrupt your job and other things. So we're going to be going into actionable conversation rather than a theoretical conversation. That's
excellent. Yeah, that is all is what is needed. So we need actionable content, and TGV is all about producing actionable content. And let's get started. And folks, so today we are going to dive into an interesting topic, which is like marketing on steroids. Yes, you heard it right. The rise of AI-driven agencies. And but before we get started, here is an exciting twist. As always, let us tickle our guest's brain first. So Senthil, get ready for a rapid fire round of random words, and I'll mention a few. Would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. If you're ready, let's dive in.
Great. Okay. Let's give it a try.
Hello, I'm Steve Ahern, one of the judges of the Asia Podcast Awards. I'm interrupting this episode to let you know that you're listening to an award-winning podcast. This podcast won its category in the 2024 Podcast Awards, so you know you're listening to quality. Enjoy your listening experience, and congratulations to the team who created this award-winning podcast for you.
Okay, my first word is curiosity.
Curiosity, the first thing comes to my mind is Newton and the apple. People take it in a different way, but yeah, that actually started of where we are now. It all started from that apple.
Yeah, and then invention.
Electric motor by Michael Faraday. It's a very underrated thing, but You can't imagine nowadays anything without it. So for me, invention is that, and of course electricity. But yeah,
Yeah. And then future.
future, I see deviceless communication between people. That's the future which comes to my mind.
Universe.
It's unlimited. What we know is nothing compared to what God is hiding in this universe. So yeah,
Leadership.
leadership. It's somehow I can only think of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the way he carried himself, the global stage and stuff. Yeah, for me, he's the leader.
Success.
It's something which people see on the outside, but people don't know the number of failures behind that success. So yeah, that's a culmination of all the failures at which success gets derived.
Completely echo with you. So people see only the growth path, and all the sleepless nights and all the failures are not visible to everyone. Amazing. And next, life.
Life, it's just we got it only once, live to the fullest, and it's all full of unlimited learning.
Career.
Career, for me, the belief is don't look at climbing the ladder of your career, rather build it yourself. Especially in the next 5 years, that's going to be the key.
And the last word is aliens.
Somehow I get the vision that aliens, if they really exist, they might be laughing at us right now, looking at what we are doing for the Mother Earth.
Interesting perspective. I loved all your responses, and thank you so much for participating in the first rapid fire round, and really appreciate it. And also thank you so much for being part of our journey in shaping the careers and lives of millions across the globe. So we'll get started, Senthil, into the mainstream. So my first question to you is, who is your guiding voice?
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer of listening to your inner voice. Yes, there are a lot of people whom I can say like Satya Nadella, Naval Ravikant. There are a lot of excellent people out there who have given a lot of advice. Yes, we can all read all those things, but it all about boils down to the inner voice. If you listen to it, your conscience, right? I think mostly people won't do anything wrong if you stick to it. So that's my principle of following the inner voice.
Yeah, love it. And then talk to us about your success mantra, as in top 3 things that have contributed to your success so far.
I think the first thing is the hiring smarter people than me. That is something which I have always looked into because we should never think we know everything in the world. There is always somebody who is bigger than us. It's always best to find out. And also, I don't give too much focus towards experience of the people. Because nowadays even 1 year 2 years experience people can trump the 18 20-year experience people. It's all about who learns fast and experiments fast. So in that way, hiring smarter people is something, and closely working with them has been one of the success for me. Second thing is obsession with the systems. Because I've had a lot of failures when it comes to not scaling up because of lack of systems. Systems is very underrated. People, when startups, they try to get into the solution, but then systems only helps you sustain your initial growth trajectory that you've got. I'm so obsessed with systems. In fact, with the new company, we're all trying the same. How do we scale things up? And of course, the third success could be the curiosity, I would say, of learning new things. I never think I have like a lot of experience and stuff. I still think I'm out of college and learning. So that curiosity has helped me learn fast and also experiment things quicker. So those are things which I feel that's contributed.
Yeah. So what's your education background, Senthil? Like,
I'm a mechanical engineer. Yeah.
Okay, great. And also talk to us about the toughest lessons that you have learned in your entrepreneurial journey, because entrepreneurship is not rosy as it seems from outside.
Yeah. I think the thing is that be it in college or be it in the outside world, managing a business cash flow is something which is underrated. People always think about ideas and all, but it's so important that it's not about people don't have ideas. Everybody have ideas. The thing is executing the idea, finding the person who invests in you, and managing the cash flow better so that the investor feels confident to further this thing. That is something which for my initial startups, it was something which I never cared about, and then I realized it's very important. Managing it right from the day one, that is very crucial. And of course, getting the more trustable people who can, because nowadays just with a few interviews we may think that person knows it all, but when after we hire that person, if they come back and ask you what work they should do, those are the things which are red flags. So I think these are the things which I've learned in ensuring not judging people based on their communication or other things, but rather actually who can solve the problem, getting them on board. That's about it. So these are the initial mistakes which I did that now hopefully I'm correcting it. But yeah, let's see.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for sharing those candidly. And talking about FTA Global, I think you guys are reinventing the agency model, right? So I'd like to take a step back and understand what exactly was broken in the traditional model and how are you fixing it?
So FTA stands for Fire the Agency. So it's an anti-agency movement that we are saying. So we're not against people or firing people. This is about firing the way agencies tend to take clients for a ride. So this is more or less common where companies they hire agencies thinking that they will solve their problem with scalability and others, because for the brand they have only one brand, they have to focus on their product and service, but for the agency there are hundreds of clients. So when it comes to the promoting that brand, they rely on an agency to help them scale up. But when the person who's working for 10 other brands, they pay limited attention to the particular brand. And with the AI world in place, there is no longer a gap in the knowledge. Brands have access to knowledge. So it's about scaling and all. So that's where we thought, there should be a model which is like a dedicated setup. Now, this is something which people they use it like they call it as a FTE model, where the full time resources are getting allocated. This is this is similar to it, but an override to that is these are dedicated unit of people, be it SEO, paid marketing, or creative. It's a unit which is being given to a client as a dedicated unit. Day in day out, their only thing is to focus on the objectives of the client without breaking the bank, because usually the cost of hiring a dedicated resources than a regular retainer will be 2x 3x. But we are trying to offer the same pricing with a dedicated team. That is something the power of technology is helping, and we are passing the benefit to the brands. So that's why this model is quite new.
Interesting. And I'm looking forward to how you guys are going to evolve and take this to next level. You coined a concept called TAS, right? I've heard about IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, but TAS, Team as a Subscription, right? It's an innovative concept. So, what inspired it, and how does it work for brands in real world scenarios?
Yeah, I think the starting point was in one of my previous agencies. There are few clients who didn't like the work; they wanted to quit, and before they quit, they have to pay for 2 months notice, 1 month notice, and I felt it was unfair for the brand side, because if a relationship, and the same with the people also, nowadays agencies keep 3 months notice periods. I really don't believe in, if somebody decides to leave, I think we should let them go. If you just continue holding them as a hostage, saying it's a 3 month notice period, nowadays KT can be completed on time. If you are having a 3 month notice period, that means you don't have a proper process in place or a system in place. Same with the clients also. Imagine a client paying you money and you're saying there's a contract which says, there is a 30-day notice. Why should a client pay that money for, he's already quitting because he didn't get results from you, so why he has to sit and pay? So these are the things which frustrated me in the previous agencies. So when we started FTA, the first thing which we mentioned was there's no restriction for the clients. If the clients don't feel any value on working with us, no invoice for the month, and they can leave immediately if they feel so. They can give us a chance for a month to test it out still, but even if they are not ready for it, then they should be let go of. So that's the reason we wanted to look at how do we make it a bit more easier for people to consume. So that's when we came up with the idea of subscription model. So what is a subscription, right? You can cancel anytime, right? You can sign up, you cancel anytime in your software, whatever, Netflix or whatever. So likewise, we are trying to bring the team itself as a subscription. So for example, during Diwali period or during the holiday period, you need more people to be working on your account, and then during the dry season you don't want to spend too much effort. So on a traditional model, what happens is it is flat across the year, and the people tend to cross sell upsell whenever there is a need. But as a subscription model, what it benefits is people can turn on, turn off, they can scale up, scale down as per the demand of their business. So it becomes easier for the brands to think maybe a particular month there is a technical issue on the site, you want more focus on technical. Without fixing technical, just focusing on blog or other things is not going to help. So in that month, focusing on technical. So like that, a bit of flexibility in allocating the team makes it easier for the brand. So that's what this team has a subscription. So far, 25 brands have signed up in the last 2 months, and they are already seeing the value of what this task model can bring to the table. It's been very flexible for them so far. Yeah.
Got it. Very unique. And then if we consider the industry today, right, many agencies talk about performance, but you guys are focusing on accountability and agility, which is one of the important aspects. So I would like to understand from you, what does true accountability look like in marketing today?
Yeah, Naveen. In fact, that is the third thing of FTA. So while we call it as fire the agency, but one of the sub tag is to be fast, tactical, and accountable. Accountability is the important point, because when it comes to agency, what happens, especially if you take an example like an SEO project, or even for a paid marketing campaign to kick off, always there will be dependencies on others, and that dependency would more or less boil down to a client side technical team or their compliance team if it is a BFSI sector. So when these kind of dependencies happen, what happens is blame games start to happen. Accountability gets transferred back to the client. So if a particular project doesn't go well, everybody will blame each other. But if the project goes well, they'll be in the stage receiving the awards. But at that time, they wouldn't think about the person who actually helped solve that particular problem. So that's why we are not too much, because performance, like how MS Dhoni and others put it, right? Just follow the process, results will obviously come. We are just following the same thing. We are just following the right bets to take for a brand, execute those things, results will naturally follow. That's how we are focusing, rather than promising bigger things and then disappointing people. We are focusing on the process and stuff. That's why we are calling it as more accountable, more agility, more fast, because because nowadays, what took 10 years, people are nowadays creating, they're calling it as a vibe coding, they're creating software overnight. So the speed at which world is going is so fast. Now it's not a time where sit and do audit for 3 months and then coming up with, that's not going to work. By the time you finish your audit, the world would have changed in that 3 months. So bring that fast tactical, we could have named our agency as FSA, fast, strategic, and accountable. But then what we felt was, in the world nowadays, a lot of talkers are already there. A lot of everybody is a strategist nowadays because of ChatGPT. So we don't believe in just talking strategy. We want tactical work to be done. Tactical only helps, and that is the future also. Who actually does the work will win. So that's why we wanted our company to just focus on getting the work done, being tactical, accountable, and being fast. This, if we do, naturally results will come. So that's where we are from.
Yeah, got it. And talking about AI is everywhere. So what are some common myths about AI in marketing that you often hear, and what is the actual ground reality?
Yeah, I think no podcast will be complete if you don't talk about AI. It looks like it's a sin if you don't talk about AI. I think if you ask me about the myth, I think from an AI perspective, people think using ChatGPT, it's AI. It's very easy. So the moment you say a creative is done by AI, people think it's very easy. But what happens is, for playing around, you can use all those prompts and all. But commercially using it, still we have a long way to go. People are right now, when it comes to bigly style and other things, people, the adoption was quite high from a people perspective. But the moment commercially usable is something which is difficult. It needs a lot of prompt engineering and stuff. So initial days itself, a lot of things were talked about prompt engineering, but then people brushed it aside, saying that it is just communication. You are just communicating, prompting it. But actually speaking, the way you prompt actually turns the thing quite a lot. For example, even in ChatGPT, if you add a small question to all your regular questions, if you add one additional line, only answer if you are absolutely sure, if you're confident, then you answer. If you just add that one line, the entire answer will change from ChatGPT, because ChatGPT works like a people pleaser, right? So those are small things which doesn't work well. So for me, the myth is that it's not about just plain English you're conversing with the bots. It's about what is that prompting that you do that makes a lot of changes the output completely. So yeah, that's the thing that I feel.
Now that you mentioned about Chat GPT, my next question is more on how can brands optimize their presence in tools like ChatGPT or Claude? And what does the future of search and brand recall look like in the age of large language models or the LLMs? Because of late, I have seen a post from one of my fellow podcasters. So he asked ChatGPT a question: who are the top 20 podcasters in India who can I reach out to support and all? And his name is listed as number 17 or 18. So earlier, we used to rely on search engines like Google, right? And people focused on getting themselves listed on the first page on SE on the Google search page, right, on the search results. But now the focus has shifted. So, what's your take on this?
That's actually the $1,000,000 question, because now everybody, uh, you know um, for example, search means for us it is Google, as simple as that, especially for since 2000. Now, in fact, in India we used to, I mean, at least in my state, sometimes we used to call it as googly. Back in 2003 4, we used to get cheat codes, game cheat codes from that. But the thing has shifted. Now everybody is using LLMs, and in fact the market share of Google has declined from 90% to 89.5%, and all may not look big, but the speed at which the adoption of ChatGPT and other LLMs is quite high. And also, it's about the convenience. Imagine in Google we have to go through 10 links, read the blog, understand, but rather you get the answer in one question, right? And that is a convenience, and usually whenever people get the convenience, the adoption rate will be like following a compounding approach, in which easily these can be becoming more and more mainstream. So now based on that, now our optimizing for it becomes super important. Now, how does these LLMs work, right? LLMs, they look at, they read, they read it from the web. Basically they scrape from the web, they understand what is the content about, and when a question is being asked, it tries to understand the meaning of the question, and it tries to answer from that. So in this regard, how the brands should look up to is, rather than so much looking at optimizing their website, they should look at optimizing for the web itself, for their brand. So that means it's no longer about, I am putting 10 blogs in my website, will I be ranked? It's no longer the case, because LLM, chances are they might not even care about your website. They care about which brand gets featured more on specific topics. So if that happens, say for example, if there is a lot of conversation about best podcast to be part of, and if we are talking about your podcast being listed frequently, then obviously LLMs will know, and they will try to rank you. They'll rank the guiding voice in the top 5, top 3. So frequently, if they see the conversation happening, accordingly it's going to happen. Same, it's the for the other brands as well. So the more you're getting featured on, will be important. The second thing is the who is actually giving that feedback, because LLMs don't want to consume content from low quality resources. They always look at high quality, because they are training the model, right? So for training the model, data sets should be high quality. So these brands, they should be focused on featuring on these websites which talk a lot about it, about their subject, and accordingly they can get a featured on these LLMs and stuff. So yeah, so optimizing for the web for your brand rather than just focusing on website. That's what. So we call it as search engineering at FTA. We are looking at engineering a brand's presence in the web. So beyond the website, that is the game right now.
I got it. It is very clear. I think it is very important as well. And moving to the next one, like what does a high performing marketing team need to look like in 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, I think so. A high performance team should have three people on hand for sure. One is obviously the domain expert should be there, but definitely a prompt engineer should be there, because a domain expertise is fine, but how do we get the output from the AI? That is very crucial. Third thing is the automation expert, because more and more tasks are going to be automated. So if your brand is still thinking that you can hire an intern to do mundane tasks, you're in for a surprise, because Gen Z is not going to sit and do shit work for sure, because they want quality work to be done. So those three things, I think, having a domain expert, having a prompt engineer or a prompt specialist, whatever they call it, and then having a automation expert, Python or that, this will be like a killer combination for a brand to have to automate a lot of tasks actually.
Got it. Excellent. And this has been an incredible and phenomenal conversation so far. And it's time for us to add some more excitement and some more spice to the episode. which means the time has come to kick off the second rapid fire round. If you're ready, let's get started.
Yeah, let's go for it now. Yeah.
All right. So here comes my first bullet. So Senthil, if you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
Yeah, it's our usual thing in our FTA. We call it as people greater than company. So brands want to do business with people. So people is always greater than company.
Love it to the core. Amazing. And can you describe yourself in just one word?
Right now it is systematic. Previously it wasn't. Previously it was more different. It was more trying to be strategic, but now becoming more and more systematic. Yeah.
And a marketing buzzword you would happily ban forever.
Right now people are selling GEO, generative engine optimization. I think it is whatever they list out, it's still the same from a traditional sense. Of course, LLM optimization, all those things are there, but terming it as SEO is dead, Geo is the future is something which I mean, this is my opinion. I don't agree with it. Probably the experts will weigh in on it, but yeah.
Fair enough. One AI tool you can't live without.
So it'll be a sin if I don't say it as ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been, but now the more we use Grok and Claude, they're also good. But for me, it's like ChatGPT is always open in our browser. So yeah.
And what's your guilty pleasure on a lazy Sunday?
Uh, it'll be okay. So I think I do a lot of farming. So for me, spending time in the farm that actually grounds us to reality. So no matter what we do in the cities and stuff, the moment working on the farm grounds you to a level. I think that actually gives me a bit pleasure also. Yeah.
Super. And one book that changed your perspective on business.
It was Atomic Habits. That is the one book which I always recommend to everybody to read.
Mhm, mhm. And a historical figure you would love to market in today's world.
I think I will historical figure could be Michael Faraday himself, because yes, Tesla, everybody, I mean, they're all great, but somehow I feel that Michael Faraday deserves more recognition for the work he did. I think I would pick it. Probably not a great choice. I'm not sure, but I feel he deserves more recognition.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, got it. And it makes sense. And what is the best ever advice you have ever received in one line?
Uh, I think one of the advice I got from one of my mentors is document your journey on LinkedIn or wherever that is. Just document, broadcast yourself. Then only people will know. I think ever since that, I've been trying my best to do that, and ever since I started doing it, I'm seeing great results. I'm able to connect with a lot of like-minded people because attracts likes. So more such people are also connecting with me. Previously, I used to go and connect, but now after I started sharing my journey on LinkedIn, a lot of like-minded people are connecting. So yeah, that was a great advice.
Yeah, yeah. Wonderful. In fact, I started talking about my podcast journey every week in the form of a newsletter on LinkedIn. Think Hatke with TGV. So every week, I mention about the guests that I've interviewed, whom I met, and if there are any misses, everything. Because I also strongly believe, right? So somebody has to know the story while it is in the making, rather than after you reach the particular level and all. That way, people get to know the nuances of what it takes in terms of building a large platform or something. So yeah, I 100% echo with it. And with that, let's fire the last bullet. What is one electronic gadget or a fantasy gadget that you like to see or invent yourself?
Wow, that was a all the gadgets that we imagine, they're somehow here and there invented. But I think one thing, I'm not sure if this is invented already. I think one thing which I always have in mind is, see, our childhood memories and stuff. It'll be embedded as a video in our brain, right? No matter how much you do prompt engineering, no matter how much you try to draw, that actual thing that you did may not come in reality. If there is a device which could read it from our brain and actually take that HD video out from that brain, that would have been amazing. But yeah, let's see. Somebody invents it.
Love it. Amazing, amazing. I love all your responses. And with that, let's flip back to the mainstream. So, Sendil, how do you mentor the next gen marketers? And what advice do you give to aspiring digital leaders?
Yeah. So, so the first thing which I always advise to my team is that thanks to ChatGPT, LinkedIn, everybody is an expert now, right? Too much noise, too many things are happening. I think what marketers or the people, I think they should just stop getting into that noise or getting sucked into that noise. Because what happens is the more you're consuming content without creating, you're not improvising yourself, right? I think people should slow down on that and at least start implementing whatever, at least one small implementation per week. It can be a simple, maybe creating a small app. Yes, you're interacting with ChatGPT. Why don't you try to create a small app and play it with yourself and see? There is one funny thing which I did. We in 45 seconds, Gemini created one Flappy game, bird game. Right, I gave it to my daughters. They enjoyed playing it. It was like a very simple. The prompt, it's all in the prompt, and then within 46 seconds, I have a working file in a plain HTML CSS. Play it in the browser. That's it. Some small things. And while doing it, I actually learned a lot compared to all the posts that you see on LinkedIn, the NI10 workflows, this and that. Don't get carried away by it because they are doing it practically. A full working NI10 model it's very rare. Actually, everybody is sharing it just to increase their followership or whatever. So don't get don't fall into the trap of that as a marketer. The basics never change in marketing. So that if you stick to it and make use of it and try to create one or two per week, I think you'll be the best. And if you do like that in a year, you would have done like more than 40, 50 things that will make you the best compared to all the seniors out there. So no matter you're starting 1 year, don't look at experience right now. Everybody is starting from zero, especially in 2025, next 5 years. Yes, people may have experience connections, but now the game is who learns fast, who implements fast. So in that game, if you're there, I think it'll be sorted. I think that's the advice I'll give to the marketers. Start doing. Don't just keep swiping the LinkedIn or YouTube and others.
Excellent. I loved the practical insight over there, and it was such a pleasure talking to you. And to be honest, I've interviewed over 880 people in the last 5 years, and this is one of the few conversations where I felt the guest is so grounded, and whatever is coming, right, it is coming out of experience. And also, I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, Senthil. And how is your experience being hosted on the Guiding Voice?
I really enjoyed it, Naveen. In fact, the questions were some of the questions were slightly tricky. I'm not sure if I answered it well. Again, these were just coming from the mind directly, so without any filters. But I loved the questions, the thoughtful flow which you have put up, no fluff and stuff. So yeah, I think it was great. I really enjoyed being here, Naveen. Questioned by you. Yeah.
Same here, and thank you so much for being part of our journey today. And I wish you and the entire team at FTA Global all the very best. And sure, we are going to do one more podcast in a year from now, talking about all the success stories of yours.
Absolutely. With our success stories, we will
Exactly,
definitely do
exactly.
it.
All right, so
Yeah.
friends,
Thanks, Naveen. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this
yeah,
podcast. Thank you.
most welcome. And friends, that was our episode with Sindhil. And before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request. In case if you have enjoyed the conversation and found it useful, request you to share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues or family members, whoever you think are going to benefit from TGV. So spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. And now it's time for us to cruise into the trivia segment. Having had amazing conversation about agencies and the impact of artificial intelligence and do's, don'ts, and what team at FTA Global is doing differently than the traditional agencies and all, I thought I would present you 3 lesser known facts about the origins of paid media that even many marketeers might not know. The first fact is that the first paid ad was in a French newspaper in 1836. While many believe modern advertising began in the 20th century, however, the first paid newspaper ad dates back to 1836 when French newspaper La Presse began selling ad space to subsidize printing costs. This shift in funding allowed news to be cheaper and more accessible, paving the way for media monetization. And the second fact is that Google AdWords was inspired by a failed Chinese business model. Before launching AdWords in 2000, Google studied a Chinese company called GoTo.com, which pioneered the pay per click. So, in the industry, it is called as PPC model. And Google refined the idea by introducing quality score, which balanced bid value with relevance, something GoTo.com didn't do, eventually leading to its downfall. And third fact is that the first banner ad had a 44% click-through rate, which is CTR. In 1994, AT&T, American Telephone and Telegraphy, launched the first ever banner ad on hotword.com. The ad simply said, "Have you ever clicked your mouse right here? You will." And guess what? 44% of users actually clicked it. And it was a different era with no ad fatigue, privacy concerns, or ad blockers inside. So these are the things that I wanted to share from the trivia perspective. Likewise, if you have come across any interesting marketing campaigns or any less known facts, do let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment there. Or if you're watching, or if you have found this episode on audio platforms or social media platforms, you can comment there as well. So, folks, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV family. So, until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you all in the next episode with another amazing guest. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye.